Few characters in American pulp culture are as instantly recognizable as Dick Tracy. The bright yellow trench coat, the sharp fedora, the square jaw, and a rogue gallery so grotesque they look like nightmares pulled straight from a crime scene. Long before Batman stalked Gotham, before film went noir, detectives filmed the silver screen, there was Dick Tracy, a no-nonsense lawman fighting crime in a city that looked a lot like America's darkest fears. This is the complete history of Dick Tracy, from the newspaper comic strips to movies, toys, gadgets, and a legacy that still echoes through pulp culture today. Dick Tracy was created in 1931 by cartoonist Chester Gould, originally titled Plainclothes Tracy. The strip debuted in the Detroit Mirror during the height of the Great Depression, a time when crime, corruption, and gangsters dominated headlines. Gould wanted a hero who felt real. Unlike earlier comic detectives who relied on wit or charm, Tracy was brutally direct, morally obsolete, willing to use violence to stop criminals. This reflected the real-world law enforcement figures of that time. The strip was quickly renamed Dick Tracy, and this popular just exploded. What truly set Dick Tracy apart was its villains. We've dived into Flat Top. We're going to get into a little bit more villains down the line. But instead of slick gangsters, Gould created them with physically grotesque features, morally twisted, visually unforgotten, and even more. There is Flat Top, Prune Face, Mumbles, Big Boy Caprice. We've had Big Boy and we've had Flat Top on the channel. Go check out those videos if you are looking for those. Long before James Bond or the Batman gadgets, Dick Tracy introduced something revolutionary, the two-way wrist radio. Yeah, everybody's kind of got one on their hands right now, but this was introduced in 1946. The fictional device allowed Tracy to communicate instantly. Again, smartwatches, video calling, police body comm tech. It's all there from 40s of Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy quickly expanded beyond comics. 1934 to 1948, he had a radio show. There was a film series even from 1937 to 1941 that was a low budget, had cliffhangers, and established Dick Tracy as a multimedia hero. The thing that we all know him for is that logo right there, the 1990 Warren Beatty movie. Dick Tracy returned in spectacular fashion. Directed and starring Warren Beatty, Dick Tracy was unlike anything else at the time. Highlighted style, almost comic book panels come to life, colors and palettes that scream off the screen, a lot of heavy makeup. We had a cast that was out of this world that only Warren Beatty could pull together. Dustin Hoffman, Madonna, and Al Pacino, just to name some of the heavy hitters. Despite mixed reviews, the film won 3 Academy Awards, became a cult classic, proved comic could be adapted to the screen. In my opinion, without the popularity and the poise of Dick Tracy, the Marvel Universe does not happen. The 1990 film launched a massive merchandise wave. Playmate toys, we'll get to that at the end of this video of Dick Tracy's, featured villains with almost screen-like sculpts, which back in the day wasn't very popular, or I guess popular is not the word. It just didn't happen all that much. There was coloring books, video games, NES and Game Boy, watches, Sega stuff, everything was Dick Tracy. It was a cool time to be alive. Dick Tracy has influenced a lot of the hit bangers, Batman, film noir, comics to film, visual storytelling, and has a lot of parodies and references in The Simpsons, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and comic noir homages. Even the concept of styled crime world owns a huge part and a huge debt to Chester Gould's vision. Dick Tracy may feel like a product of another era, but his influence is undeniable. He predicted modern technology, everybody's got one on their wrist and in their pocket, changed how villains are portrayed, helped define crime fiction and comics. In a world of morality and gray heroes, Dick Tracy stands as a relic of absolute justice, harsh, uncompromising, and unforgettable. And sometimes that's exactly what pulp culture needs. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Dick Tracy, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more in-depth look. We're getting ready to dive into the Playmate toy, which was a fun review. There are more of them to come. Thank you all for tuning in. One thing I would like, if you would take some time to comment down below, who is your favorite Dick Tracy character? Let me know in the comments. Until then, peace out, home skillets. All right, taking a look at Dick Tracy here. I got this custom coat years ago for it, and I think it really makes the action figure pop. It looks fantastic. Hat doesn't remove. Warren Beatty's face looks great. You just get it with... the jacket makes it. Dude, if you could pick up these jackets, it's real cool. Does come with the wristwatch, as you could see there. But when you come off, he's just got his blazer, or his vest, his slacks, and everything else. The sculpt on these is really amazing just because of how great they... I mean, for all the actors who played in Dick Tracy, Warren Beatty being the main guy, it's a fantastic mold. Seeing these things on the shelf years ago was awesome. I love it. I think it's great. When you put him up next to... Let's put him up next here to Big Boy. I mean... That's Pacino, that's Beatty, and it looks just fantastic. So, that's some stuff about some Dick Tracy. Let's hear more about the history of the guy that they named the franchise about.